Right, that's exactly what I.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't wear that.
Hi Blake, how are you?
Hey, well, it's good. How are you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Well,
I'm.
Except for racing.
Yeah, I was racing in Orlando, so. I mean,
How's it going?
okay, but, right. Hours had all it took. Now, 2 hours. And it's.
No, my dog was there. Month ago, we went to visit. Day with her. Yeah.
And I'm from Miami.
Moderation.
Yeah.
20 years. Wasn't that bad at all. I mean, once sunrise and all of that, place, you know, you have a couple of planes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's champion. Yeah. That's. I'm over there. 4 times a year.
Yeah, I tried to avoid it as much as possible. I used to do seminars. Yeah. I could see all jokes off that client.
Yeah.
Of course, they're making with driver's bus.
Years ago.
I mean,
drive back and forth. Take, you know, it's like, I try to come home at the end of the night because it's. Now I stay in there.
Yeah, it's really against that.
Oh.
They wanted to buy.
You know, we ended up going to that Universal or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I knew she said she got
The principal's office. No, I was there this week.
There's only so much time.
Right now. If I had just been tired from the car.
I'm glad you had some fun stuff. Oh, yeah, they're high fiving everybody running around.
Yeah, right.
Just, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you down
I
there.
know, and I did it Italian. What type of number? Right? It's not a key.
Shake it off, that stuff.
Hi, Dan.
A little heavy.
of odds. And that's why I'm hiring a custodian. I will never think that. You asked me to go back and put that detail in there.
And you'll get it back. I was gonna get that and the check sent to you.
You just
Don't have to deliver them. Just take them to the bathroom. Yes, just say.
Go find it.
Right. Hopefully, I got it right.
No, I'm good. I just.
Not you, that. You can't sit next to your namesake.
That is weird. Yeah, Ron and Ron.
I mean, if it's under his feet.
Nice mug. Oh, nice mug. Yeah.
He's confused.
Okay.
So, yeah, this year. This is.
Oh, is this the year
Again.
again?
It's always 40 years.
Need to do the shuffle again.
We'll see if I find my.
No, that won't help.
I'm ready.
Placeholder.
It's a placeholder. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are ready to call to order the meeting. Can we do a roll call, please?
Yes, we can. Print my minutes here quickly and then we can check it off as we go. Sandy, you're here, correct? Yes. Bill is absent. He is on the holiday or traveling or something like that. Tamara is here, taking Jenny's place. Myself, from Zerk's here, Ron Schultz, you're here. Dan Windle, here. John is here. And Bill Watson is here. We have a forum.
Okay, thank you. Okay, could we stand for pledge, flag and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the meeting notice.
Yes, ma'am.
And do we have any, we have a motion to approve the minutes for July 17th, 2024.
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions, comments, additions, corrections? Yeah, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes. There you go. Good to have an introduction. We'd like to welcome Tamara Black, who's joined our board, replacing Jenny. So we're really happy to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm Tamara Black. I'm the executive director of the Feast Food Pantry in Palm Harbor. I've been in that role for about 4 or 5 years. I'm active in the community with the YMCA and some of the PHU boards. I'm really excited to be on here. I've been using all the services for years with my 4 kids, so I'm excited to become involved. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Everyone's always excited to hear the meeting.
Excited.
Yeah. It's good to be, I've been here a long time. Okay. So I don't think we have any agency rules changes, anything going on to that. Do we have any, introduction? We have Commissioner Eggers here today.
Good to be here.
And
Nancy's here, yeah.
public official, anything from the audience? Didn't get any papers.
Here if you have any questions, otherwise. good to be
Yeah,
here.
really questions? No, everybody did. All right. All right. Okay, we're here to a treasurer's report.
Well, I have access to the QuickBooks. I have not found any anomalies, so that's a good thing. Good up. Happy behaving.
As far as you know.
That I can find.
We get a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second. Any questions?
Just one comment. I thought there was an issue with everybody signing their, for signing checks and things. Is that all taken care of?
We have to have a new round sent out for Tamara coming on, but we were waiting for this meeting to do.
Okay. I thought there was something hanging on.
That's the only thing that was hanging out
Okay,
there.
thank you.
Other than me in the beginning of July completely missing the email.
Okay, no,
But that's been taken care
I
of.
wasn't sure if we. okay,
That
thank you.
depends on.
Because I didn't see anything, this last month, and that's why I asked the
Yeah.
question. I didn't see anything. Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept the monthly financial reports for Palm Harbor Parks and Rec?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Bertha? No. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have a motion to accept the director's report of Palm Harbor Parks and Rec?
So moved.
Second.
Erica? You some stuff to tell us?
What do I have to say? Well, we just attended a great meeting, Matthew and I, of the newly formed Palm Harbor Main Street. Very exciting times for Palm Harbor. We both may be cousins once removed on a committee for that, volunteering some time, but Nancy's probably the queen of information, but I just wanted to let this board know that Matthew and I are jumping in with both feet, and Nancy's been working on this with Phil for 3-4 years, as 2, 3 or something.
Yeah, the advisory committee is 3.5 years.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's a revitalization of downtown Palm Harbor, and being recognized as a state main street opens up some opportunity for sponsorships, fundraising, things like that to help us. Now with the roundabout signifying downtown, all those things that maybe my grandkids will get to really have a cool downtown district. So we're super excited about that. And summer camp's over, so staff and I feel a little bit more rested this meeting than the last two. So the building stood another year.
Okay. Any questions, comments for Erica? All in favor?
Aye.
Director's report?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You had no old business, I take it, but we have new business. We have the budget.
We do. Anybody have any questions on what was submitted? I like that silence.
Okay, good, okay. Do we have a motion to accept Erica's budget?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Any questions, no questions? All in
You're
favor?
pretty flat.
We were,
Yeah, I
and
was-
and there was an explanation given to us, and all of us are gonna be either flat or down, right? He's like, I don't know what your side was, but they gave us too much last year, so they're evening us out.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's why we're pretty flat.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, that I was interested.
Right.
$50,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, with inflation.
It's,
nothing.
it
Just-
is, well, it's not my turn, but it is better than we thought it was gonna be a couple months ago.
We did think we were gonna be down, so at least
Yeah.
we're up a few $1,000s.
Gotcha.
Better than being down any day of the week.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All in favor of accepting the budget?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we have the netting at Sunderland.
So that was approved by the advisory board. It's the 8th Street netting. Those of you who don't know baseball, that's the foul balls that go out on those baselines between fields 2 and field 3. And then the netting in between the two fields. Currently is an apex. It was put up probably 15 years ago. It just needs replaced. We were not originally going to be able to do this project or the other project that I put on the agenda. But thankfully, Pinellas County did, remember we talked about when I redid the Pop Stanzel Pier, I was going to, through Commissioner Eggers' great advocation for us, ask the county to help us pay for that. And so they did pay $95,000 back to us. So they've committed to half, which half is better than zero. And so these two projects now that were put on the back burner can be brought back forward. The netting is the same, the netting company is the same company that we used at Putnam, when we did all that netting at Putnam. The advisory board did ask, even though Phil's not here, John did sit in on that meeting, and I'm a woman of my word. I just got the quote this afternoon, so I didn't bother to send it. They asked for a second quote, even though I said, this is a company we've vetted before and we've used them and we believe in their product and we've had no problems. They said they would conditionally approve it if I submitted the quote, and I have a quote, another quote for the pier. So I wanted to tell you what the other quote came in at, which literally, I just got it at like 5 o'clock. I lied, 4:10. It is from a company. Come on, open up. Custom Netting, and they came in at $78,249 for the same similar system. It wouldn't be the same because Gorilla Netting has their own system that breaks away during hurricanes. That's one of the reasons we utilize them. It actually, the clips are made to get over 100-mile-an-hour wind or 120-mile-an-hour wind, they actually come away from the pole, so the netting doesn't rip, and then the company comes back up and reinstalls it. So that's why we went with them, but they're also, I think it was $9,000 less expensive than this quote. So that's what I'm asking for at Sunderman. And that's where the money's coming from, the reimbursement from the county.
Total amount?
Oh, what was the total? amount?
69.
$754.63.
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
I'm reading it, I don't memorize it.
I don't either. I knew it was 69 and change is what I said.
Is it customary to do 3 quotes for these capital projects?
They try for 3 if they can, but some of these are special.
Not necessary. Okay, I got you. I just was curious.
And honestly, Bill, that was the same conversation that came up last week.
Mhm.
And I said, we do try, but we couldn't get another quote. We had to take bar unseal to get a second one. So.
Totally understand. Yeah, I just was curious. Yes, thank you.
We have a motion to,
Make a motion.
thank you. Give a second.
Make a motion. Just to clarify.
Clarify the motion.
Oh, for allowing Erica to spend the 69,754.63 for the gorilla netting, on 8th Street Fall Line.
You want to do it up to 70? Just in case?
I mean, he's,
I don't know if we're good to go. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
good with that too. Either
I
way.
think that's
Yeah.
what the advisory board, if my memory
I'll
serves me
second
right, they
that.
gave
70.
it 70, yeah.
You get a second.
Yeah, Dan,
Who can vote on this? Which of the board members can vote on this?
The county.
Just the commission.
County representatives
representative.
and, well, we don't
Phil.
have,
Phil.
we don't have.
Phil, and then tomorrow,
County.
Ron,
your
Ron,
county,
and
your county.
Me.
Your county,
My county.
Ron.
yeah, Schultz is coming.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, further discussion? All in favor, who can vote? Say aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
who seconded that one? Sorry. Okay, fine. Thank you. Missed that. Thank you.
Stephen, send him an email.
Okay, Erica, and then let's hear about the landing at Pop Stansel.
So when Pop Sanzo Pier was built, constructed originally and rebuilt, when the county rebuilt it, there was a lower deck that came down that someone could boat in, dock, get off the pier and go to use the restrooms, whatever. Well, when we rebuilt, we didn't have the funding to do that, so we ixnayed on that. And obviously, now that we've gotten the reimbursement for half of the pier, the 28,000 or whatever the quote was, I don't have it in front of me at the moment. 24,000, I think.
22,790.
22,790.
Thank you. I got 24,884 for the other quote that I got, that I just got yesterday. But so we wanted to do that. We've gotten several phone calls. It is an amenity that the community uses because they do pull alongside. And I knew we were going to get a little heat when we couldn't rebuild it, but if you don't have the money, you can't do it. So I did let the county know, the commissioners asked at that meeting, if you watched that lovely workshop, which I did view, they did ask that if we could come back and let them know, and I did tell them these were the 2 projects on the table. So, and they were happy to hear that they were public serving projects, not an individual, facility projects.
Okay, so Dan,
Does that add a level of liability that was, it's always been there, but now that it's in the limelight, and people pulling up now, are we adding liability by not replacing it? Or if we do replace it, is that a new level of?
I think it's less if we have it, because if we don't have it, they're gonna find a way to climb up over the top rail.
Right. So that's what they're gonna do, right? That's what I'm saying, so.
I mean, I would only, I'm gonna say the word assume, I hate it, but I've seen the behavior out there. Wouldn't be surprised if people have been doing that all along.
Where does the fixes liability begin and end, do you know? On the water, if something happens there, where's the property line?
I prefer to an attorney, I'm not an
Well, we
attorney.
have insurance. And Commissioner Eggers probably doesn't want to hear this, but while we have insurance, really the county's property, so it's their liability at the end of the day, but we have insurance, so that would cover us. We have sovereign immunity, but you really if the lawsuit is correct, it's supposed to be against the county, not against us. So we don't have any liability, technically.
okay.
But they always start with us.
And then we move to dismiss. They sued the wrong party.
Erica, I didn't find anything specific in here. Say hypothetically, somebody was to pull up a 26-foot outboard bow riding boat. Would that fit there?
No, there's not enough water there. Sorry.
Just asking. Thank you.
Are you asking for a friend there? I mean, I don't know. How much water does it draw? Let's go there.
I think it's 3.5, 4 feet.
High tide. you might-
I don't know.
Hypothetically, yeah.
tied-
I mean, high
I
tide, you might be
high
able to,
tide,
but
you
you better
might
get out of
get
there before the
through.
tide
On
ebbs
a
out.
king tide. King high tide.
King high tide, yes.
Great.
Yeah, there's not a lot of water in there.
I still think it's a good idea, so.
Storm surge.
It was a couple days ago.
Do we have a motion to approve Erica's 22,850 for a lower landing?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
The only thing I want to add, Sandy, for full disclosure, because my advisory board did ask, I did get another quote from a place in Tarpon called Bayou Dock and Boat Lift Sales. Did I send that to you? Because I don't know when that quote came in, to be honest. It was $24,884 to do the drop down dock there, whatever they're calling that. What do you call that? Platform. So it's a couple $1,000s more, I believe, than Loggerhead's quote.
You're preferring loggerhead.
Yes, they're the ones that built
Loggerhead's
here.
right there too.
And-
And they did the work initially.
And this is the same amount of money they were gonna charge me last year, so they didn't inflate the price either 8 months later. So that to me bodes for a little,
Yeah, there might be a little
Confidence.
magic
so,
there. Okay, so all in favor of approving the lower landing substantial pier for 22,850, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
thank you.
Do we have anything else? That's it.
That was enough.
Okay, East Lake Parks and Rec, Mark, so can we get a motion to accept the monthly financials for July? East Lake Parks.
You can.
We have a motion,
Second.
second, any discussion, question? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion to accept the director's report for July from East Lake Parks and Rec?
I'll do that one too.
Okay,
I'll second
okay, any discuss, Mark, go ahead and get it.
Just the two big things we've been working on, is our parking expansion. We're just, waiting price estimate from a consulting firm. And, then the Meadows expansion project, continues. We're waiting for the final scope of work from the engineering firm on that. Other than that, this last Saturday, we had a big football jamboree. There's like 17 teams there, playing on 3 fields. Parking was crazy, but it was successful. We didn't have any major issues.
Mark, Lois reminded me to ask you that the library is interested in some parking. Could you send some of the specs for parking in the conservation area, what the options are? Did you guys do that, or is this gonna be paved over?
No, I mean, we can look, I don't have the specifics on specifications.
But more of the vendors that are willing to do this, so we can start getting quotes, and looking at what the options are for putting.
We really haven't got to the vendors
Oh, okay,
yet.
Okay,
We're still working on what it's gonna cost.
okay, perfect timing.
Yes,
Okay.
No, we were just thinking.
but we can talk to our
Mhm.
consulting firm. They might have some folks in mind too.
Were you interested in the pavement specification?
No, so maybe like we're looking at different options for putting a spot for cars to park without destroying the grass or, you know, those types of things. I don't know what the proper terminology is, so.
It's like those honeycomb.
Oh, yeah.
Heck block.
What do they call it, like semi-pervious when you do
You got
that?
impervious and pervious pavers, you got a
Right.
hex block, you can do all that, and the hex block are the ones that are the triangles or hectagon,
We were
octagons.
just
whatever they're
thinking
called.
for it.
And they
for the
put, sometimes they
southeast
put
corner.
seed in them, and there's
Mhm.
grass in them.
Right.
We did that at the Meadows originally, and that was a county spec. And we started tearing it all out, and they finally let us put concrete, because it didn't.
That stuff started raising up out of the,
And ladies and anything but tennis shoes can't walk in. So it caused all kinds of issues.
All right, we'll have to talk more
Good to
about
know,
that.
yeah.
offline.
Water table supply, but they use them in the county parks.
Mhm.
In fact, if you go to.
John Chestnut has them.
Chestnut, Harbor Hall, all that parking that's on Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Any further discussion of Mark's director's report? All in favor of accepting, say aye. Opposed? Okay, no old business, correct? So we have new business is the budget. So we have a motion to accept the East Lake Recreation budget.
Like that, budget.
Okay, second,
Second.
okay, discussion.
Only thing I will add is, we were told that it was gonna be flat and, are pleasantly surprised, our budget went up about $40,000 this year.
Any further discussion? All in favor of accepting the budget for East Lake Parks and Rec, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Palm Harbor Library, can we get a motion to accept the financials for July?
Motion to accept the financials for July.
I'll second it.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, do we have a motion to accept the director's report for Palm Harbor Library?
Motion to accept director's report, Palm Harbor Library.
And I will second it.
Second,
Very second.
okay, Pat, you're on.
Oh, hi. So I thought I'd just spend just a couple of seconds on what I've described in here about a hybrid event. This library speakers consortium is a service we pay for, similar to Dunedin Library does the same thing, where we get big name authors we wouldn't normally be able to get either in person or virtually. But they come in directly through we have a unique feed, so we can tell how many people are discovering it through our library website and our marketing and that kind of thing. So this is something a little bit different where we have the streaming live author talking and Kate DiCamillo is a big name in the children's author world. But in this case, we decided to go just a little extra step because she is so big and do something in person as well. So we had people gather to come and view a streaming talk, which I wasn't sure if anybody would show up for, honestly. So seeing 28 people come in to view that kind of format was very encouraging. And then an additional 67 people viewed online, and that continues to grow over time as people access the archive. So I thought I would just kind of remind people what that service is that we offer on a monthly basis now. It's the Friends of the Library have sponsored it. And it does give us the ability to every now and then do something a little bit different, a little bit special like that. So I just thought I would share about that. The other thing I wanted to call on Kathy Wass to share about our new installation out there in the
Yes.
garden.
So we had our ribbon cutting this weekend for Little Free Art Gallery, which is out in the reading garden. It's similar to a Little Free Library where you can take a book, leave a book, but this is specifically for artwork. So it was created for us by a local Eagle Scout, and so he came, and then it was also painted by one of our local artists that participates in Artful Evening. So they came for the ribbon cutting, and then he had his Eagle ceremony because that was his final project to become an Eagle Scout. So, and that was well attended, including by the mayor of Clearwater. So it was very well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we still have our little grand opening sign up if you're interested. So.
Yeah. It won't be quite so hot on the way out. You can kind of take a peek.
Yeah, right.
So those are the things I wanted to call up in the report.
Okay, all in favor of accepting the director's report, say aye. Opposed? Okay. No old business and new business, the budget? We have a motion to accept the budget for Palm Harbor Library.
I'll do a motion.
Okay, discussion on the budget, anything you want to add, Matthew?
No, just a repeat from before. We thought it would be like a fraction of 1%, like really flat. But a few months back, or a couple months ago, learned that it was going to be a little bit better, around the 4.5% mark increase. So still pretty flat, but allowed us to at least, make sure we're planning budgetarily for the cost of living increases and important things like that.
Any questions from the board, comments? Okay. All in favor of accepting the budget for Palm Harbor Library, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. East Lake Library, do we have a motion to accept the financials for July?
Motion to accept the financials.
Second?
Second.
Any questions on the financials for East Lake Library? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the director's report?
Motion to accept the director's report. Second.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
It's second. Okay. Lois.
Yes.
Let's get started.
Become like a motherland. July was a very busy month, of course. We had the end of our summer programs, which went very well. Again, the big finale was August 3rd, which was very popular. Kids came all day to spend their bucks at the library and be able to take home all of their goodies. The problem was those that couldn't make it, we were closed the following week because of the MSTU project, the lighting, so they had to wait till school started practically to come in and get their little grab bags of books and such. The MSTU project was phenomenal. I am so thrilled with Fuller Electric and the job they did of putting in the, taking down the hanging fixtures and putting in the ceiling tiles with the LED lights. The only problem is, okay, is that I now have to wear pancake makeup because all of my wrinkles show. It's much too bright. We have a number of big events coming up, so I hope you take a look. The big fundraiser in November will be our murder mystery. We've had some issues with both personnel, some sad situations with some of the staff, and we're trying to get through that. One person had to relocate back to India. Another one got a wonderful job. So with changes in the staff and with changes in our budget because of the fact that we went to UHC for our disability, which saved us $500 a month. Thank you, Shelby. Okay, and also the fact that we did get a little bit more than what we anticipated originally from the county. I was able to move things around and create a part-time facilities manager's job, so I don't have to pay $750 to call Mr. Handyman and put in 3 ceiling tiles. Okay, so I will be spending all of next week doing interviews for the new volunteer coordinator and for the part-time facilities manager. So, and we have some very viable candidates. I am very, very happy about that. And the only other thing is this week, we have spent all week, this week, training for the new live scan fingerprinting service. We have the equipment in. We have been doing virtual training, and then we're going to do hands-on training and be able to open it up in about probably 3 weeks. I want to make sure everybody has a comfort level like we did with the passports before we unveil this new service.
How much is that gonna cost?
We're charging $40, $10 of which goes to Certifix, and we retain the other.
It's $25 per employee, cheaper than it is for us to do what we're
So
doing now.
come to Eastlake, Susie, you're ready.
And our employees.
Can we do
yeah.
that? I mean, it's not a.
Be
conflict,
happy to
right?
have you.
Got a 1-sentence roof report,
I'm sorry?
1-sentence roof report, we had some leaks.
Oh, yes, and it happens to be at the flashing where the old building connected to the new building, right in the community bathroom. It took us a number of times to finally determine where the problem was. There were like little pinholes in the roofing, and they used some type of sealant that has since held. So fingers crossed that there's no more issues with that. I waited for several months before I put the ceiling tiles back in because it looked pretty sad.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Lois regarding the director's report, Dan?
2 things came up. One thing regarding what Matthew's doing, is it possible, does the Eastlake Library have this author showcase?
No, we have not participated in this yet, no.
If we're in the same tax ID, is that something that could be shared? Just a thought. And then also same tax ID, is it possible? Does the Eastlake Library have the ability to charge $0 to fix entities for background checks?
I was thinking about that. I mean, we would still have to pay something to Certifix, so I don't see why we couldn't do a reduced rate for fixer employees.
Just a cost or something.
Right, I'm just
Mhm.
throwing you on the spot on that one. but-
Yeah.
And then the last question is about the 500 a month in savings. I don't know, did you put that in the new budget?
Yeah, I
Was there
revamped the
enough
new
time? I
budget.
don't know, I didn't ask the other end.
Yes, it has been revised based on the new figures.
Okay, so that's a personal line item disability insurance.
Well, you
line.
can see if you look at when we get to the budget,
Yeah,
what
we-
I did
Oh,
was
we're
I
not at the
did
budget.
it.
No, we're
No.
still on the director's report. Okay, good.
Okay.
Any more questions on the director's
And
report?
just your fingerprinting, whatever it is. At St. Pete College, I mean, I'm still working with them and they always send me down to St. Petersburg when we do that.
I know.
And boy, I'm telling you, between the Tarpon and the Clearwater campus, I mean, you may be able to really.
Well, I've already spoken to Pinellas County School Board and their department that deals with fingerprinting for volunteers
Okay.
and school personnel, and they are thrilled that we're getting on board. And as soon as we're ready to unveil the service, they're going to put us on their preferred list.
Yeah, and I can beat the drum too with some of the people.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great service. It really
Yeah,
is. It really is. Yeah.
Very glad we thought of it.
Yeah, it is.
All in favor of accepting Mrs. East Lake Library Director's report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We have no old business, but we do have new business in the budget.
A motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Okay, discussions on the budget. Hey, Dan, go.
So. I thought
She
this came to
remembered.
me. So
Okay.
the new budget
Yes.
has the new disability costs.
Yes, if you look on the
Bill.
second page under ELCL benefits, disability insurance, life insurance. Okay, that originally for FY 2025 was $10,000. It's now 5,000. And those are the new figures based on what Shelby was able to provide from us from United Healthcare. So it was a significant savings.
Nice job, Shelby.
Is that a savings shall be across the board or just for these?
No, it's across.
It's across the board.
Everybody.
It was basically the short-term disability that was just way out of whack.
And Lois is being modest, but she was also beating the drum to look elsewhere. So credit goes to you too.
Yes.
We really appreciate that.
You need to make a motion for that?
To beat the drum? No, I can do that.
On last year's budget, one of the big issues I had with all the entities was the insurance costs for the buildings,
Mhm.
property insurance.
Yes.
Is that?
It
solved?
has leveled off this year, surprisingly so. Now, according to what Max was telling us, was it had something to do with some of the legislation that was passed in the state legislature with regards to claims and such. So we really came out with the same coverage as last year, basically. Last year was more of a slash and burn type of year where we really cut back on some of the, what we considered excess coverage. But this year, we pretty much maintained what we have thus far as the coverage goes, and the rates did not go up. So we are cautiously optimistic for next year as well.
When do those rates usually come out?
We sit down with him in May for June 1st.
Okay,
Correct?
so we're good for theoretically for a year.
Yes,
What was last year's jump, you remember?
Like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
it was a
Terrible.
lot. It was like
This year's
25%.
was 8%,
Yeah,
much more reasonable.
So this is like a little Band-Aid.
right.
Thank you.
Let's just hope we get through hurricane season
Mhm,
and the Band-Aid will stay.
That's
mhm.
great. Savings are great.
So I just have one other new business that you know about that I'll.
Any further discussion on the budget? All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Harry, did you have, I know you emailed this morning. about-
Yes, that's all I want to talk about. Just an update. We have had issues with our 20-ton AC unit, which was installed in 2011. We had 2 of the units installed in 2011. They are 13 years old. We have done our due diligence in maintaining them with service agreements and constant maintenance with the Dunedin Refrigeration. We have repeatedly been told by Dunedin Refrigeration that it's overdue to get these replaced. They are not running at peak efficiency. So a few months ago, I had requested from the county to do an assessment because we were noticing much higher temperatures than should be in the main public areas. He did come out, he did discover a leak and it was losing Freon. So we did have Dunedin Refrigeration come out and repair it at the cost of $3,200, which was in my director's report. However, subsequently, he did go back and tell the county that, and he said to me as well, that he felt that these units were still good for another year or two. So, you know, I have to go by what they recommend. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks after we paid $3,200, we now have no air conditioning. Okay, the unit is completely broke now. What I brought Dunedin Refrigeration back in yesterday, and they discovered a major leak, and all the Freon is gone, and it's something like $13,000 to repair it. So I have contacted Diana Sweeney. Okay, I contacted Nancy. I cried to everybody. But Diana Sweeney has always been a pleasure to work with. She is bringing it before the Capital Improvement Program Committee this afternoon, which approves emergency funding for capital projects over $50,000. We were estimated that this unit would cost $60,000 to $75,000. It is up to almost 80 degrees in the main area. We are maintaining regular hours, but you know, with mumbling and grumbling, we've closed the blinds, we've left the other doors open that have air conditioning so that there is some, but you know, you've got those doors that open in the front constantly, that if people stand there, it's just letting heat and humidity in, and when you've got a heat index of 103, it's kind of hard not to keep, you know, to prevent the temperature from rising. So I am optimistic. I did offer the option to Diana that if it was not in the immediate budget for this year to pay for this, I mean, we can't go without air conditioning, you know that. And it's also affecting the collection, that we would be willing to put in, we would pay for a new unit, and then the county could reimburse them, but they reimburse us, but they don't do that. So I'm optimistic, working with Diana, you know, if there.
Lois, did you ask them if they could lend you a spot cooler?
She is checking for that. She's a chiller unit, yes,
Because we have one in one of the rooms in building two for the same reason, because I'm
Yeah,
not gonna put a
yeah.
unit on that building.
yeah.
And they
so-
lent me one and it's great.
Yeah, she said she was gonna check around. I don't know who to ask myself. Okay, but she said she was gonna check with some of the county departments to see if they had a chiller unit. So that's where we're at, and I will keep you informed. I don't know, you know, what's gonna happen, how soon. We're doing the best we can. I allowed my staff to wear shorts today. So that's the best I could do. Maybe I'll buy ice pops tomorrow.
Commissioner Egan, you're in all this.
Yes. Bad. No, I had talked to him earlier, and he said if there were, you know, if it continued to be an issue, to let him know. You know, and Nancy as well, so I appreciate their help.
Soon,
Yes. Soon.
sooner the better.
Oh, yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, well, I plan to call Diana tomorrow to see what the status is. Yeah, and I didn't realize she was at polling places yesterday, so I sent her the email late yesterday when it hit 80 degrees, and then I called her this morning, because I haven't even read my emails yet, but thank you, I will get right on it. So.
Okay, we have.
So, you know, we try to be proactive, you know, like we do with the roof and with the air conditioning, you know, but sometimes, you know, the county sees it one way, we see it another, we see it as more urgent perhaps, but.
Heat this summer.
Oh, it's
Got a lot of
brutal.
air conditioning units this year.
Oh, yes,
A lot of
so,
stuff like that.
thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is the HR assistant report.
I know it doesn't look like a lot on paper, but I'm busy. I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet the new candidate for the HR coordinator. And I've met with her. We have one more step and she will be official, hopefully. We'll have her starting on Monday, and I'm still trying to prepare for that. Matthew's been working with us. I know, you know, all the directors have supported kind of redoing the office a little bit so that it's more functional for two people to work together and still have their own, you know, their own place. It's coming along nicely. If anybody hasn't seen it, I'm very proud. It's beautiful. But I'm excited. She's wonderful, and, you know, ideally, she'll be starting on Monday. So everything else is, you know, as you know, we did save some money with that United Healthcare switch over. that was, Lois wasn't gonna let that go.
The junkyard.
So I did go out and, we got a significant savings for everybody. So, that's exciting, and bringing Tamara on, gosh, just making sure she knew what to expect, and, that wasn't as hard as it sounds, but,
You're being nice.
all I've been doing.
You'll have to change the agenda though, to say your new role on there, not HR assistant.
I don't, yeah, my name tag and my everything is all,
Okay,
it's all right, it'll happen.
we have that next.
But also Shelby won't give herself any credit, but she also helped with a little bit of a fire we had when Cadence switched over to their commercial banking. None of us could get into our bank accounts Monday. So, was that last week? I'm trying to forget it, yeah. And she reached out to our person and they were great. And I know I had to talk to, Kathy took the brunt of it because she reached out independently, but I mean, within 5 minutes, she had me in. They just forgot a little detail, I think, in the directions, like go to the new landing page. So, but other than that, the directions were good.
Kudos to Kathy K, because,
She spent 2 hours on the
She-
phone, but
yeah, she walked me through it too. She
Yeah,
was the first
so,
one to
but-
get in.
I appreciate you reaching out to Cadence for us.
Of course.
So do we have a motion to accept our HR report?
Motion.
Motion
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No old business, any business, no. Mr. Brown Walker, do you have a motion to accept the liaison report?
Not much of a report. I'll do the motion.
Second.
I'll second. See.
I didn't get it.
All the report is really a teaser for what's gonna happen at the next meeting.
A teaser.
Because
Really?
Dan has told me I need to hurry up and make this procedure project real. I've been working hard on that with a lot of help from Bill. And I think that by next month, we'll be able to present a suggested format for all of that, and then the processes that we will take to fill in all of those. And to me, it was really important that I believe Fix a Board will really need to go back and say, yes, that's what you've captured is really what our policy is, and that's what we want it to be. So we'll bring those along probably in groups so that we can make sure that what goes in this little notebook, which has its own page now, policy book. And it's been quite a bit of new learning for me because I knew we wanted it. I just didn't know how to do it. And Bill has helped. And I didn't tell him this yet, but my main role now is just to push it together so it's not a book this big, because we want it to be quick and succinct and easy to find. And the second step, following right along behind that, will be an online version that we want to do that anybody can go in and search and find. Not anybody can change it, but they can see what the board has said are the policies and procedures and rules that we're gonna follow. And there's another segment of that I was thinking about. But, anyhow, there's gonna be a lot of computer work that we're gonna have to think about. Once we get a little model of what we want to do, then to put it up online takes, our website is not ready for that. It's gonna take some work, so. Probably cost some money too, but we're not ready to even think about that yet until we know what it's gonna look like. But I think this is a real opportunity to have anybody, the public, all the entities, all our board members, anybody else who's interested can go in and see what Fixes it says is its policies, and this is what we're gonna, this is what we're doing, this is how we do business. I think that we learned last year that we may know in our head what it is and what we want to do, but we couldn't necessarily prove it And that's what we hope will be one of the main outcomes of this. Anybody will be able to go in there and see what fixes policies are. And I think it'll help the entities do their business too. So, it's a promise for September.
Okay, we're gonna hold you to that. All in favor of accepting this report, say aye. Opposed?
I'll save a lot of paper too.
Yeah. That's eight, now we're at 14 agency items, old business. And we kind of got a sneak peek from listening to Shelby's report, but we have an update on the HR position.
We hired someone.
Yay!
Yeah, as Shelby mentioned, we're not showing who it is because they're in final stages of background check and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But we had probably at least 20 applicants. We did Zoom interviews for 4 of them. 3 of them were strong enough to bring on site. So we did 3 in-person interviews, including like a presentation component for those interviews. So we tried to run them through the ringer a little bit. And of those 3, 2 were really strong. One of them made the decision for us by withdrawing because she got a fabulous offer elsewhere. But really both were very strong. And so we were very happy with who we got. She's been on site, she's met with Shelby, and she has, I think, about 9 or 10 like specific years of HR experience, in addition to 12 or 13 or 14 years of business experience that included HR components. She has a business degree, which has been verified, and SHRM certification.
Yes.
And she's good. We see her working very well as a team with Shelby as the administrative coordinator. And
She did
so,
some nonprofit stuff too.
yeah, exactly.
So
So it's,
Rotary and Chamber of Commerce.
yeah, connected with this world. If anybody else wants to add anything else that I left out, but
I just have to say it was a wonderful exercise in, you know, 3 of us working together, and then Mark, okay, even though he doesn't have the staff, it was nice to have him too, okay. We had a wonderful, you know, give and take with all of the candidates, both online and in person, okay. I'm sorry. I'm at the other 3. So, it
I was
worked out
part of the
very
interview
well.
team too.
Yes, I do. I did that.
Yeah.
I need more coffee.
that's,
It was.
No, but everybody
good
had a
effort.
point in the,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the 4 of us that contributed.
Mhm.
Mark, you contribute a lot of good things, even though you really don't have any staff,
Mhm.
but I thought it was a great process. I think it worked well, and I hope that we'll be very happy for many years to come.
yeah, I think, just to sum it up, your directors are working very well together. It was, it was a long road, but it was very collaborative, and everybody absolutely had their say, and we all handled each step of the process together.
You know, and if I can, you guys did a marvelous job in this whole process. From the workshops to bringing people in, to you guys getting engaged in the process and really driving it through to completion over a 3-month period. That's just a marvelous job. We had changed the organization, who they reported to. So we had to reinvent job descriptions. I mean, you guys did a marvelous job. You had to run your stuff, and you did this in between. So I give you kudos for it. There was a lot of work that you accomplished in a short period.
Well, you helped us too. So.
Well, I know.
It goes back to your
That's all you. Don't bring me in. That's all you.
We stole some of your questions for the interviews, so we absolutely did, yeah.
Always ask for
The
them.
greatest compliment is when we borrow others' material.
That's it.
You guys did a marvelous job. You really did. Thank you all. Yep.
Next month's agenda, move it to introduction.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
We'll be able to introduce her next month, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see a problem, but hopefully.
Okay, now we're back at director reviews. Once again. We were-
Deja vu.
We were gonna finalize the process of all the specific questions. Right.
I think we agreed on the questions last month. The questions for this board to review the 4 directors are online on the Fixer Google Workspace. That is going to be given to Ron unless we have a different idea. Ron's going to be administrative. The way the Google Workspace works, it's an online form that you would go into. You have to log into your Fixa email. So no one can take this except someone with a Fixa email. Then you drop down who you're reviewing, you drop down who you are, you fill the 7 questions out, comments, and then submit. You do that 3 times, 4 times, 3 times, right? 4. What do we want to do? I got a dry sense of humor. So on that, it's all gonna just combine into one report. And I thought it's best to have someone off the board controlling that. The data's there in case the lawyer gets angry. Combined by, I put Ron, if that's what the board wants. This is all online and almost ready to go, but this would be something that I think we agreed would be due November 1st. I think we said that. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
That's the date that the advisory board got.
So,
Yeah, and it has to be done by at least the board, that late November meeting, even if it's done at that point in time to fill, because we need it for December. That's when all the stuff is gonna be reconciled in the December meeting.
well, this report will be put together for the November workshop.
November workshop, November 14th.
So all of our reviews would need to be done, just for my memory, we all have to have our reviews done of the directors by November 1st, because that's also when the deadline we set for the advisory boards to have their evaluations to us. That's the official
Which means
cutoff.
technically, they have to, the advisory boards have to do it in October.
They have to
Get it-
do them, but they have to be
get it.
turned in to
Right.
Shelby by November 1st.
So that would be the same for us.
Correct.
So if the board is okay with it, I can have Ron Walker have, be the one that press the send button to the board members to fill out the survey.
And the only thing I would probably do, I would probably give it to the HR department to do that first of all. Because there is confidential information in there, that's gonna be part of the human resources file, all that information. I would probably give it to either Shelby or the new director coming in. Whatever the new
Coordinator.
Coordinator, thank you. The new coordinator position, if they're starting Monday, I would probably do that. Ron could still do the interface of that, certainly. But I think, I would hand that off to HR as soon as
That would be
possible.
an HR thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
what I
what, that was the original intent, I think, but we didn't
Mhm.
have the
Yeah,
HR.
based on the Monday hire and start, and that's, and Ron certainly could do interference on it, but I think it needs to get in HR at some point in time, as quickly as possible.
Unless we just want to hand it off to Shelby now.
I mean, that.
It's just a matter of logging in, moving the survey to their account,
Mhm.
clicking send, and then crossing fingers. Hope it works. On a related note, you're taking the advisory board survey, which is in paper-based form right now, putting that online in the same system. And I can open that up to each of the 4 entities, advisory boards to use for their own benefit if they choose. So it's, I plug it in once and then it's just copy and paste. And each of the advisory boards can use the Google Workspace to fill it out however they wish, if they wish.
Yeah, but doesn't that have to be presented in wet signature by the directors?
Yeah, the only,
How it's been, we can change the signatures type, but it does need to be presented and they also sign it. And have the ability to put comments.
The way the East Lake Library does it is we all complete the survey on the advisory board that gets rolled up into one, which is then the chairman puts together, signs, reviews with the directors. So
That's how ours
the
does.
data collection is what I'm talking about. Eventually, you got to print it out and sign it. But if the advisory boards want to have an online version of it for their use, Fix is already, or the Palm Harbor Library is already paying for the Google Workspace, so we're just gonna use that technology.
the only thing I would hesitate on is how do we gotta guarantee there's no changes to the form once it's posted. There's no change control. You need a separate procedure for the whole process. How do you manage that cycle? If you have a hard copy of it and HR's going through distribution, I know that copy is being sent out. If it's online, can somebody hack into it and change the questions? Did somebody hack into it after you rank somebody and change the rating? I mean, how bulletproof is the process? That's the thing I would be concerned about. I mean, you're putting it out there and you're leaving it out there and we don't control it. I just, maybe I'm overcautious, but I mean, we just have to think through that one. And then we have to document what we're doing and what the controls, checks and balances are if there's a change, if we change a question, if it's online, it should come back here, we should review it, then it's gotta be posted. What is that process? That process needs to be firmed up, I think. If we wanna try it and then just lessons learned in January, wonderful, we can learn from the process. I don't have a problem doing it. But I'm just saying we should be cautious how we, we don't wanna set ourselves up for failure too. No, yeah, we made a mistake.
Now you're talking about the fix the board members review of the board of directors.
Fix the board members, and even ours, when we do the reviews, can anybody hack into those?
On the advisory board level?
On either one.
Well, at the advisory board level, the current system is free for all. We have no idea what happens. I could do the report and sign it, or the chairman can sign it at the East Lake Library with Lois. Never have asked anyone a question. We would never know that because we don't see the raw data ever on the advisory board level.
That's your responsibility to make sure you're seeing it.
Right, but
That's your fiduciary responsibility. I have to make sure that through the advisory board, I'm getting all their inputs. And then we're gonna reconcile that through the chairman, and we're gonna write it one single review for Matthew. That's my responsibility to make sure that's happening. If you don't wanna do that, if that's not your fiduciary responsibility, then it's the Wild West, anybody can do what they want. But you, as that linkage, I mean, I would think that's your responsibility. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, and I think that's what we have to do.
I think logistically, you talked about a couple different things. So like, can somebody hack into anything that we do online? Yeah. Can any one of the board directors have the ability to do it? Probably not. Like, I'm pretty tech savvy, but I don't know how to do that. But you always, it could happen. But it'd probably be technically easier to do that than, to grab somebody's review and scan it and replace it and that kind of thing. But you're just talking about a tool for gathering the data, right? I'd say it's probably very unlikely to happen, but it could. So if it's something that has to be decided on the advisory group level, that's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe it should be just discussed and figure out if you want to go that.
Try that, because then we can learn from the process. I don't have an issue with that, because Google Docs is relatively safe.
Yeah, and it's about what we pay for is behind the firewall, and so it's not easy, but it can anybody with like, a certain type of front door, like code connect, or, at their home connected to the Wi-Fi, somebody can break into their home without actually having to break a lock at all, that can happen too. So there are risks out there. I'd say the risk for this is extremely low, but it could happen.
Okay, so based on what we're trying to do for the board's reviews, are we comfortable with this process? Want to make a motion that we try it?
I make a motion that we try it.
I'll second that motion to try it.
Try it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is a good idea.
it is, because it does settle into one spot, and then, like you said, Dan, it rolls then into HR, she'll compile our stuff, or they will compile our stuff and everything else together. I think it's great.
And I think if someone were to hack it, this is something, we all kind of know each other here and.
You guys are hacking, you shouldn't be working here. If you're hacking that, you're hacking Google.
Low target on the hack side.
I was gonna say.
Seriously, I mean.
I'll hire you
But
for
Bill,
something
Bill, you make a very valid point. I mean, I just left a seminar in Orlando, and a lot of it was on cyber.
Yeah.
And it's a very important thing on there, and AI and everything else. So I didn't want to go down to that rabbit hole. But no, you make very valid points. But I think let's move forward, and we can work on that as we go along, because there will be changes. We already know this. Okay, it wouldn't be the fix-it board if we weren't changing things as we go along. So.
I could give a little bit more specifics because I was playing around with it today. On this Google form, you can say, can they change their answers? Yes or no? Do they have to register to log in before they can complete it? Yes or no? Can they see the results after they submit it? Do you get an automatic email to them once you submit it? So I said it as, you have to log in, you can't change your answers, you can see your answers back to you, but you can't see the final answers of the conglomerate. And then it's up to the HR department to then
That seems pretty
get that
simple.
combined data to us.
You know, the question is, so if we fill it out, we can download a copy of what we personally filled out.
It's set right now to automatically email you a copy
Email
of
you a
your
copy.
results, so
So
you
we don't
fill it
have a
out 4
copy.
times, and you
Right.
get a 4.
So, in going back.
So, and then you also have to pick who you are. So if we see 10 reviews from Sandy, we know something's going wrong.
And we, if we each have a copy, if there was ever a problem, we have a hard copy. of what
do.
we actually filled out. So there's only 8 of us. It's not, yeah.
And can't you set that to where, once you log in, that's who you are identified as? Is that?
I don't know.
work that way?
I think you can. I
Okay.
don't know if it's stamped on there or what.
That's fine.
So I
That's
just said,
fine.
who are you? Just,
But on the administrator side, for you, there's an audit trail. So you can see who's logged in, when they logged in, and what changes they've made.
I
correct?
assume that on the Google Workspace, yes.
Okay.
I don't know how
That's
to
what I
do
mean.
that.
So Bill, for your comfort, there is that audit
Yeah, yeah.
on there, so we would know who logged in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What is that procedure for the Google to set up the form and get it launched and et cetera? Who
Yeah.
owns it? Does Dan own it going forward? Does HR own it? I mean, there's.
Right, so at
things
this
that have to
point,
happen, so-
HR is gonna be, I'm gonna have
It'll
HR
be
do
transferred
it.
to
Yeah,
HR.
yeah.
I'll work with
I
Shelby to make
got
this
it.
happen.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to slow us down. I'm just.
No, I know that.
So I'll make a motion that, the
I think
director
there's a
reviews.
motion on the floor,
I
right?
think they're very
Yeah,
helpful.
we did.
That's cool and all, but we got a motion on the floor.
To give it to HR?
And I-
No, did you want to do that first?
So I have a,
We're gonna
Go
go
ahead.
forward.
You want to amend the motion?
yeah, I'll amend the motion to give this a try and move that into the hands of the position. that-
HR
HR coordinator.
HR coordinator.
And I'll amend my second to that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that took care of our process, and that took care of the form and the specific questions. I think we covered it all. So we're ready to go on November 14th, yes?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Those will be
Fingers crossed.
before the, looking forward to it.
Oh, So everything will be, so when we do our workshop, we're gonna be good. Fingers crossed. Okay. Dan had requested issues with Cadence Bank. We're gonna address that.
I'll let Lois.
Okay.
Or maybe not. Maybe.
I don't know, I'll always be the fly in the ointment. I'm not happy with Cadence. I haven't been for a very long time. This last changeover just is the icing on the cake. It kind of proves that, you know, we're working, I mean, we've got, what, $5 million in funds, and we're working with this little bank that seems to constantly put roadblocks in our way. I get nothing in return, okay? When you try to contact them, now, I don't know, Shelby might have a better relationship with some of them, okay, but, I really feel for us to do our due diligence, I think we need to go out again. I know it's like akin to root canal to change banks, but we have found, I mean, we have settled for these small banks, and I don't think we're getting the kind of service we deserve for the size of organization that we are. Why do we have to go with these little community banks that, number one, is very difficult to get to? We don't have, you know, there's no Cadence Bank anywhere on the east Lake side. We have to come all the way over on this side. Okay, we'll go all the way up to Trinity. I mean, we have Chase right down the street. There's Bank of America. I mean, why are we using these little banks that can't give us the level of service that I think this organization deserves?
The only reason you're using those banks, because the other banks didn't give us service either.
Well, BB&T didn't.
Right.
We had trouble
So
with
we've had
them.
big banks, we've had little banks.
Truist, okay, I don't know, you know.
We had SunTrust before them, and they sucked.
Yeah.
Everybody has, nobody's ever taken.
And we're limited because of the governmental funds. Are we not?
Always been the problem.
But a lot of these banks have the governmental program that'll take care of us.
Yeah.
We just have to find somebody that will give us the customer
Yeah.
service.
The latest, I mean, have you seen the latest nonsense? Okay, our own accountant I couldn't get into QuickBooks. Okay, and they said, well, we sent you 3 secure messages. No, you didn't. You sent me 2. You didn't send me the third
I only
one.
got 2.
Okay, and I mean, they're like almost nasty in return, you know, in response. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry. Okay, that's not good customer service. If I treated my patrons the way some of these bank people treat us, I wouldn't have any patrons in my library.
I
So-
think you should talk to. I think we've done this in the past, but I think based on our size, we should probably talk to some of the fire, Palm Harbor, East Lake Fire District.
Yeah.
Who are they using?
I know,
Because
I
they have
think
the
Palm
same
Harbor
problems
uses
we have.
South State.
With same problems that you have. A, where to put their money, B, the service
Mhm.
and the size. So if somebody's servicing them, they might be willing to, good, you know, they might be
Yeah.
willing to service us.
I mean, I know
But
we go
it's a
through this.
constant, even, everybody.
Constantly, it's
keeps-
cyclical.
yeah.
I know it's cyclical, but I mean, this last, I mean, how do you feel about having to bring out your personal phone? Okay, each time you want to get into your Cadence accounts to get a new password each time on this special app that I don't want to use my personal phone. Okay, I have Bank of America. Okay, you go in, you've got your username, you've got your password.
Well, I will say.
Two-factor authentication is becoming more
It's
and
becoming
more
right.
prevalent
But not,
everywhere.
but having to use personal
And-
phones?
Yeah, there's no other way to get it unless you get a phone call,
Yeah.
but they're not gonna do that. MFA is the best way of doing it, or multi-factor authentication, MFA is best done by cellular phone using a specific app. Like, I go into numerous different, files all the time. I mean, I have access to thousands of people's social security numbers and personal identifiable information. I have 2 MFAs I have to do just to be able to get into it. A password, a code that I get text to me, then I have to go on to Microsoft and get a password or another code from the authenticator app. So it's my personal phone, but it's still required to be able to do my job.
You're not gonna get around that, but it sounds like you four would like to find another alternative.
And
I
at
think Andy's got a
least
great
investigate
suggestion.
Yeah.
like that, yeah, I'll
And
contact.
we'll go ahead and sign some more
others.
cards if it
I
can make
know.
things easier.
We
for
sign
you
them every
folks.
other month anyway.
The only thing we have to consider too is our payroll's tied to Cadence. So we'll be changing payroll companies as well.
Right.
I'm
I
just,
thought
No, but
it's
if you guys, if
separate.
it's so much of a pain for you guys to be willing to step up and make that change, then it's obviously an issue.
I'm not saying that I'm willing to just because I swear it's like every 4 years. We start out with a honeymoon, they're all.
Oh, I know.
It's the best rate.
We'll do everything.
We're gonna kiss your left.
The one that
right
signed
foot
us
and
up
then-
for Cadence is now, what's her name, Susie Q, that's over at South State.
That's the
Well, that's her,
problem.
that's her Facebook
The
page.
person who gives us good service leaves.
Right.
Right.
But it has been a pattern we've had for a year.
I think this is our 4th or 5th since I've been director, or 4th at least, so.
One of the things Lois brought up is having to get a code on his personal phone. It's, this is gonna be with everything we do. I mean, everything you sign when you need that two-way ver. Would it be good to have each of the directors have a cell phone?
Well, 3 of us do, I think. I don't know if Mark's is paid by the company, but yours, you have a company?
No,
phone?
mine's on a company phone.
No, I have a work phone too. Mine's a company phone, his is,
No.
Mark,
I
is yours a company phone too? There's your problem,
Okay.
Lois, you gotta
I
get a
would
company phone.
prefer
like the
you
rest of
had
us.
a fix paid phone,
Yeah.
because that, in case there's any public records requests or anything like that, we just give them the phone.
Well, they're gonna be sad when they see all the pictures of my grandson on my phone.
Right. But it's,
Okay.
that'd be a better way of doing it for your, for
I
your.
mean, if that's the way of the world, I was
protection,
annoyed with it too, Lois. I didn't, that's what screwed me up. I didn't realize that was what I had to do.
Yeah, I
So,
couldn't get into
But that's
QuickBooks.
Lois, if,
but it is everything.
Lois, one of the fire districts got hacked, excuse me,
No.
and somebody stole a check.
A big check.
Big check, okay, eventually we're able to get it back, but,
Mhm.
so it's, and they did it by just fishing around until they found somebody. They had been going through the system apparently for a long period of time until they found an email they were looking for that allowed them access to a purchase that was being made. So nowadays,
Yeah,
Although you have to get a fix it.
okay. I'll have to fix it.
There goes your telecom line.
Yeah.
One quick fix might be for John as treasurer to tell Cadence we're going to leave them. And say the reasons why are A, B, and C, and D. Would you like that to happen, or do you want to make some changes? I mean, we should be able,
I can make that.
Yeah, some people don't care and some maybe do.
we have
Well,
the
I mean,
guys
like
show up.
the last guy that showed up at the.
That'll
the
buy
big
us another
city,
month of quality
Oh,
service.
it was- yeah.
That was a joke.
That was a joke.
You know, I got the job because I, and he's, the guys are
I
friends.
mean, I went into the branch
I've
last
never
week
seen him since.
to make our deposit. I don't normally go in. And the branch manager, I didn't know who she was, the one here in Palm Harbor, but she's like, I really want to get in front of your people. We have such great programs, you know, because she's probably new,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Actually, Erica, she's got something in mind specifically. I spoke with her today that she wants to promote within.
well, she might be the one you might want to threaten. I mean, tell John that we're not happy.
I mean,
I mean, and we had the Cadence Bank, I mean, these
True
things
with that.
happen, because I know with air conditioning, we had the one Cadence branch closed for a month because they had no air conditioning. Karen couldn't go to the Cadence Bank that she goes to.
We are a great client for,
I know,
I mean, really, because we have money that's consistently being put in there. They can make loans off of that.
Mhm.
And so we just need to get somebody that understands us. That's what we need. And whether it's Cadence getting their funds together or like you said, South State, whoever is giving this service, but there's a specific group that does governmental entity. And we have to make sure we have
no,
somebody.
I was under the impression that Altera was separate from Cadence, that if we left Cadence, that we would not have to leave
I
Altera.
don't know. We'll have to
We
check.
should check. into
That's
that.
what they had told us originally.
Well, it's called something else now too. so,
It's paid
Yeah.
Yeah,
now.
but yeah,
It's paid, was it
It's
paid?
called payday now.
Payday,
And
yeah.
that's because they're owned by Bancorp.
Bancorp, yeah,
Bancorp or whatever.
Bancorp South, Bancorp South.
the bigger
Take up
than
on
the,
Okay.
multi-factor authentication thing was just that they didn't prepare
The
for that
lack of
transition.
communication.
Yeah, they were really did not
Lack of
communicate, hey, this
customer
change is
service.
coming, this is what you're gonna need ahead of time, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm,
I mean, or they did, and
Yeah, they
like,
kept
I
saying
get
a
a
leg was
million
going
emails
away.
a day, and I'm like, oh, that's just bullshit email, and I
Yeah,
didn't read it,
yeah.
so, you know, I didn't blame them, I did blame them for not letting us know that, hey, you had to go to a new landing page, because that made all the difference in the world. But-
That still didn't make any difference with the problems they were having with getting into QuickBooks.
No,
That was a whole
our
different.
own, our own accountant.
Yeah,
couldn't
Oh, I know,
get to
Ellen was
QuickBooks.
emailing me, she was frustrated.
Yeah,
very
and I
frustrating.
mean, I got that email too. For me, is that, you know, there's a problem. We're
There's a
not,
problem with your QuickBooks,
our
yeah.
QuickBooks is not connecting with your bank.
Oh, I got that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was
That was the
because
third secure message we
QuickBooks,
never got.
well, because I think QuickBooks was trying to connect to the old landing.
The old landing page, exactly.
We
Makes
just need to find a rep. It's gonna be good.
Mhm.
They
Well,
come and go. That's the problem.
I'll
So
ask-
John,
I'll
are
ask
you
around.
reaching out to Cadence
I will
first
reach out to Cadence and find out, Shelby, give me the info.
before we
I
start
need to
soliciting other
Gently
banks?
probe.
I'm gonna be gentle.
Probe, bad word,
We're past gentle,
maybe?
we're past gentle.
We're past, okay.
I'm
All right.
Can you also find out if they're connected with Altera?
I'm good at that.
Yes, John.
Shelby.
I'm sorry.
John, can you also find out if they're connected to Altera?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Like if we leave Cadence,
Wow.
do we?
If they can be independent.
I'm gonna touch base with you during the week,
okay.
on payroll as well. I'm
Yeah, that was my question.
plotting something
Mm.
good, but it may make life easier.
Don't use the word plotting, that sounds very.
It does sound bad, you're right.
Plotting
I'm
appropriate.
working, all right, so I'll just say it, and I'm working with a program through a payroll company to be what's called an ASO, or just basically it is on your own. It's a per check fee is all that you pay, so I just want to find out what we're paying per check. And then they will process by that fee and handle the tax reportings for payroll tax, but everything else is all done underneath the FICSA, not underneath them. So it's a separate model, but again, it's separate. So they would be able to draft the money out of the accounts and make the payments to the individuals.
We're in pretty deep with Altera.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, they,
But if they're tied to Cadence, then if we're having that problem,
Yeah,
then
no, I
we need to have another option.
absolutely.
So that's
absolutely.
what I'm,
Mhm.
pardon my wording, but that's what I'm looking at global.
Investigating. How's
Investigating,
that?
okay, that's a
That
better
sounds
word.
better than
Looking
probing
at
and
global.
plotting.
examining.
He said he's gonna, Lois, he said he's gonna do it like a proctologist.
Yeah, that's what it's.
That's what I heard.
I'm going in.
Notice Bill stopped writing.
Can we get that for the minutes, please?
Can I make a motion to ban that type of
Sandra?
You kind of
Yeah.
visiting that and having a
Can
discussion.
you guys talk for another 25 minutes? I made a bet I'm about to lose if you adjourn.
Okay,
I think we're good.
here we go.
What did you say?
Oh, we move fast. now.
Who did you bet?
This guy, I'm gonna owe him lunch if you adjourn soon.
Do you have anything else on Cadence Bank?
No, just-
No.
I do, yeah, two more things. While you're talking, John, I think getting the interagency transfers of money,
Okay,
sending checks from East Lake Library to the Parks and Rec is ridiculous.
No, you know what's really ridiculous is right now I'm floating about $20,000 worth of insurance every single month.
Oh,
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That needs to, Caden should be able to be like, yeah,
That's not Cadence. That's United Healthcare. When Deborah
well,
set that
no,
up,
it's,
when Deborah set it up, they told her, because I asked, they could only draft out of one account.
but we should be able to
But-
move that money.
That might-
there
to
should
that
be an
account
easier way for you guys
on
to
an
log into
automatic basis.
Cadence.
why
You can
can't
do
we
online
transfer funds?
You guys can do. You can do online transfers
Yeah.
between accounts.
And-
We're under the same Fed ID number. You just have to do them. It's it, I mean,
Do we need two people to sign off on?
that's on y'all. I don't know the process. We've never done it
Well,
before.
I'll have to find out.
Okay,
And then the last piece is
You
the
transfer
guy
the
came in
Cadence,
and said he'd be able to help
you
us shop the
transfer.
CDs.
Yeah,
The individual entities shouldn't be CD shopping.
no,
That's what we currently do. The bank should be stepping up for that. I know they don't want us to do that, but we're doing it anyway. They could keep the money in-house at least.
Right,
okay.
we just want service,
Well, yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you're asking.
full service.
But John, I think the signature part, the transfers between banks is gonna be our policy. Cadence doesn't require.
I-
two
That is our.
I thought it
policy.
was our policy already.
That is.
What
our-
I'm saying is, asking Cadence to do a transfer, do we need two signatures on that? They don't care.
They don't.
No, that's our, that's our. policy.
Right, so if this board says to the directors, you can transfer money within each other if there's a bill sent out, you can debit each other, then that's this board's direction. We've never had that direction.
So then that kind of bodes to the email that was sent out from Cadence asking about a, master on the logins. So one person other than the directors would also have access to each one of the accounts.
It's usually the
It
treasurer.
should be
I
the treasurer.
understand that, but I don't think Jenny ever had that.
She absolutely went into all of our accounts.
She went into your QuickBooks. I don't, she went into the physical accounts.
Oh, I don't
It could
know.
be.
That's what I'm saying. I.
Maybe
didn't-
it's Ellen though, check, because Ellen goes into all our bank
That's
accounts.
what I'm, it is Alan.
But she
Somebody
reconciles
else
our
have that
accounts.
access, but
Yeah.
they were wondering if we should add somebody else, but
Mm.
let me look into it, what can be set up with Cadence, unless we leave, on intertransfers, if it is something that could be done electronically, like you as the director would, or Lois would transfer it to your account, because you're floating the money for UHC. I would then get an email or
I thought when
notification.
that bonehead came and talked to us, he said that was possible.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, the bonehead came
Promised
and
us
talked to us.
unicorns. and
But you
rainbows.
see what I'm saying, then I would get an email saying, yes, it's approved, so there's our two signatures.
Right.
Okay,
I believe it's a possibility.
all right, I've got my list.
Erica, you trying to stretch out the meeting?
No, Dan and I had a pact that, oh, no, I'm just kidding.
I just think we're asking basic services that we can do on our own in our personal accounts at home. And why can't we do it in this type of organization?
Because it's a business account,
Right. Right.
Okay.
period. Because I don't have to get it
Apple
open on my
Farms,
phone
yes,
from
I
my
know.
personal account.
So, Andy, just to clarify, it's transfer funds, shopping CDs, how deep are they with Altera and Proctology?
Okay.
That could be first.
Oh.
Well, that covers under how deep.
Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts about that.
What do I,
Are we done with Cadence? Okay.
On the discussion, we're done with you. On the discussion, we're done with
We're done.
Cadence.
Okay, we still have on here just a reminder that we have our director's review workshop Thursday, November 14th, 6 P.M. at the East Lake Library. I'll keep it on there until we do it.
You
And
guys have an agenda? I'm assuming we're gonna have an
you
agenda.
have an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Fine.
Camera, we're not usually this.
Well, the designation of our next meeting is September 18th, 2024, and if I'm correct, it's at 6 P.M. at East Lake Library.
If there is.
If we're accurate.
It will be. I promise you.
otherwise we're moving it.
So we get a motion for.
Otherwise I'll.
Go, Jared, go, Jared.
Second,
Whoa.
So where's lunch at? Yeah, Erica, where you buying lunch? Fancy, where's she taking you to
I
lunch?
forgot to tell
Wow.
the dollar menu at Wendy's. There you go.
No, luckily, we did not agree on. Ahead of time. So now.
It's a lot bigger than a dollar. You're gonna run it, spend one, then you go to the dollar store after that.
It was worth a lunch to get out of it. Thank you. This is our first hour and 20-minute meeting. in 3 years.
Quiet.
You know the problem, you know what it is? The good ones go, they're really good, they sell you lunch, it's great, and they start with much cost. You have the three come in front of you, then it's so nice.
Yes.
And it's a good one, they're good. And then you start to talk to them. And you realize where it's back at that fight, they were trying to find something. Probably.
Well, there is,
Yeah, how's your painter? Cause you know. Right.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, the people are doing a good job.
Thinking it's not gonna be.
If they're doing a good job.
it's out there on the front desk.
So, yeah, in the email, it's like, we have, you know, I was like, $3 million, this next just got rated jet.
And then. Now, when you do it, they come back. That's that. Get over it. Yeah, that's a big one. And the incomes. Right, and I understand. So you're gonna have to get that. I can find something for you to do. Let's go to Vegas.
I don't think so. I think, well,
Should be able to take the channel previous.